Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Your Set Pageant podcast series. I'm Kat Jane Shepherd, Miss Grand Australia 2026, and this series is where we sit down with some incredible women preparing for Miss Grand International, alongside pageant queens, fans, and special guests. Today, I'm joined by an inspiring woman whose journey is built on leadership, service, and advocacy. A lawyer, community leader, and founder of Equipped ED Foundation, Akoi Arok is passionate about creating opportunities through education and empowering culturally diverse communities. Now, as Miss Grand South Sudan 2026, she's preparing to proudly represent her nation on the international stage. Today, we'll get to know the woman behind the sash, hear more about her journey, and connect as we continue on our road to Miss Grand International. Welcome, Akoi. How are you feeling?
Thank you. I feel really good and honored to be here. And thank you for the lovely introduction. I'm honored.
Of course, you have such incredible credentials and things, and I can't wait to learn more about you. So we'll just go straight into the questions.
Yeah,
So
let's
first
do it.
up, first up, congratulations on becoming Miss Grand South Sudan 2026. What does this opportunity mean to you personally?
Well, thank you so much. And likewise as well, congratulations to you for being Miss Grand Australia 2026. The title itself is something that I would have never really imagined for me. It's something that's calls for a bigger purpose, a bigger challenge than what I would have imagined for myself. I'm honored. As you may know, this is the first time South Sudan will be represented in Miss Grand for the first time in 10 years. So it is a huge honor. And a lot of weight, but I take it on with a lot of excitement. Grand is one pageant to me from the get go that appealed to me greatly. I think it just has all elements of my character compared to other pageants that I saw. You know, you've got the costumes, you've got the talents, you've got the evening gowns. It's just, to me, it's all glamour and glitz and all parts of being fun and on stage. And I'm naturally someone who's a performer and loves being, on stage and performing. So for me, it's an opportunity that allows me to represent my country in an authentic way that also resonates with me. And it's a challenge I'm definitely excited to take on.
That's so incredible that you represent your country after a 10-year break. How amazing is that? And I totally agree with you. Grand to me was a pageant that stood out because it has so many different aspects. And as a performer myself, I think performers are often drawn to it and we love
Yeah,
expression. So
I always
that's,
say Grand is like for the theater kids. It just appeals to us. The costumes, the energy, it's all for us.
yes, totally agree with that. So, how has pageantry changed you as a person?
It's definitely broadened my mind and it's given me a lot of perspective. Pageantry for me was something I originally thought was just easy. It was another dimension of modeling, which I was doing. But I thought perhaps it's just, fun and easy. You get to dress up and get a crown, and that's fun. But since being part of it, I've gained so much more respect for it. It's an art in itself. There's so much training, there's so much time, so much dedication, so much effort that all this amazing woman put behind it. And it's beyond just walking on stage. You know, you've got to work on branding and public speaking and advocacy. And it's just really, really astounding. And it's stretched me and it's helped me grow in ways that I didn't imagine for myself, but also in ways that resonated with me personally from my career, from my personal goals and ambition as well. I think someone who's in law, advocacy is a massive thing for me. So being able to bring that in tiny as well with pageantry, it's definitely allowed me to gain a new respect for it overall and to realize it's multifaceted and it's not just as simple as I thought it would be. So I've definitely gained a lot of respect for it, to be honest.
I was the same. I came into pageantry during my adult time and kind of when I was going into uni and thinking about professionalism and things like that. And it really opened up a pathway to see, yeah, it gives you so many skill sets and so many different things. It's not just the glam on stage that we see, although we love that side of it. And
Mhm.
that's something I love. It's definitely, yeah, it prepares you, I feel, to be a modern woman. And that's what I often say about Miss Grand in particular. It's a modern day woman that has so many different aspects to their life. So I love that that's helped you in your career, especially with such an amazing career as a lawyer. I love that it helps you there. So what
Awesome.
drew you, I know we were talking about pageantry, but what drew you to Grand in particular? We've got the expression, the performance side, but are there other aspects of Miss Grand that you were like, that's why I have to do it?
I think for me, when I first did pageantry, like yourself, I came into it quite late. It was something that was recommended to me a few times as I was doing modeling, but I didn't take it seriously until last year when I did my first pageant, Miss Australia pageants, and that was so much fun. And it was more, I took it on board as a challenge to stretch myself, first of all, and an opportunity to connect with a lot of women and see where I can grow in that space. That was really my mindset when I entered it. At that time, Grand for Miss Australia was coming up first. I wasn't ready to put my hand up for it, so I was a bit shy, but I was still following everything, the journey, the pose, like it just like I just fell in love with it, honestly. I think every aspect to it drew me out, and I connected with it. And as I was doing Miss Australia pageants, I got to learn more about the other titles as well, and more about the competitions, and I did my research and so forth. And I watched, the past pageants and competitions. And as I did that, I still kept coming back to Grand. It was just the one thing that was really appealing to me. And like I said, it just had different dimensions to it that resonated with me, from the costume, from public speaking, from able to do a talent aspect of it. You got the training into it, the swimsuit, evening gown. It just seemed like the perfect, well rounded space for me. And I enjoyed Miss Australia pageants in itself because it allowed me to gain that perspective and that experience and also make that decision for myself. So when I finished, straight pageants, I was like, oh, I'm gonna do another pageant. And I was like, oh, everybody says that you're on a high, once you've done your pageant, you're on a high. I'm like, no, I'm seriously like, I'm pumped up for it, but now it's like I've gained more mindset, more experience, and I'm also determined. Like it's grand for me. That's the next goal. Where Miss Australia pageants was like a teaser almost in itself. Let's try it out. But it reaffirmed for me what I needed to know for myself. So grand for me in itself just really appeals to me in terms of all these dimensions, as mentioned on the stage, but also advocacy. I'm someone who's been doing advocacy for a long time since I was in uni alongside my studies. I've done a lot of community work, community development services, charities, advocating for youth. That's something I'm really passionate about. And I also work in that space in my criminal background. So being able to also bring my advocacy part into this pageant was really important to me. And it was reaffirming that it's something that the pageant actually values and it does encourage all these women. And again, they're amazing, talented women who all have different skill sets and experiences and things to give to the world. And so to see the variety of advocacy there, and also these are women who are really passionate about it and wanting to use their platform for that, was really empowering and something that I really loved even more about the pageant itself. And then obviously you've got everything else from business. I think coming back to what you were saying in terms of being a modern woman, that to me was also very important. And I've realized with a lot of women this year, they've all essentially got a business of some regard, which I love. I love to be surrounded with women who are go-getters and who've got their own mind and are passionate and building things for themselves. My thing has always been, it's always important what environment I put myself in and what kind of people I surround myself with. So I think just the environment in itself and the women who have walked past before me have just been inspirations in their own right. And that to me was just more encouraging, like, okay, this is the right pathway, this is the right pageant for me. It just, all I can simply say, it resonates on so many different levels with me.
Oh, wonderful. And it seems like everything lined up too. I'm the same, and I find it so interesting that we have a similar foundational background. I was at Miss Australia pageants too, and it kind of was the seed to make me really love pageantry, but wanting to dive deeper and further. And I can tell you've definitely done your research around Grant, and you definitely love it. And I'm the same. Like that's really what drew me in, and I love being surrounded by women that one love research, love getting themselves out there, and using these incredible platforms to promote well-being, especially in youth empowerment. That's something that yeah, that's my background as well. So it's wonderful to connect with you on that.
Beautiful.
So you were born in Sudan and raised between Egypt and Australia, am I right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. How has that journey shaped you to be the woman you are today?
Oh, it's been Very foundational, to say the least. So my family left Sudan in 2001, if I remember correctly, due to civil war that was happening at the time, and we went up to Egypt and we lived in Cairo there for about 18 months while we waited for humanitarian visas. It's been an experience that when you're young, you don't really understand what's going on. You just know, okay, we're moving around, we're in a different country, it's a new language now, and what's going on. But growing up in my family, my father, by background, he's a soldier, and he was in the military. And I've got a lot of my uncles from my dad's side who are involved in law and politics and journalism. So conversations about human rights and advocacy was something I grew up with. And when I came more of age to understand why we had to leave and what we went through, it kind of just built that sense of wanting to be an advocate through and through, knowing that we had to leave essentially just because of discrimination, because of our ethnic background, and then also because of our faith. We're Christian by background. So for me, and having to see the extreme level of discrimination itself, to me, that just made me feel more passionate about wanting to advocate for people who may have gone through something similar or who are voiceless as well. And I think that's why I'm so passionate as well in terms of advocating for youth in our society, because they are one of our most vulnerable members in society as well. And I think we forget that it's not just about having an educational foundation. Nowadays, there's so many issues that young people are facing. And unfortunately, we've got young people now ended up in the legal system than ever before. And one mistake is all it takes for their whole life trajectory to be completely changed. And so being able to advocate for them too is something that kind of ties back to that. I've been able to, I think in my experience from growing up between those three countries, is have a also deeper respect for cultures and different walks of life, where I think most of the societies I came from were very um, one dimension in a sense, where people were
Mhm.
very same. And it wasn't until I came to different spaces that I've met people who are different in terms of background, in terms of sexual presentation and passions and so forth. And it's made me just realize, okay, it's not advocacy, does not just come from a point of you have to have your rights infringed upon. You just need representation sometimes because you're other than and you're not accounted for. And I think that's where also pageantry comes in for me as well, where it's like, no, we can advocate, we can dress up, but also it's just showing presentation, just being able to come there as Miss Grand South Sudan for this year and be like, I'm here, I'm participating. I've received so many messages of people just saying, oh my God, we're so excited that South Sudan's going to be represented and on the stage. Like, they don't care about the outcome. It's just like I'm so honored and so happy to see someone who looks like me, like up on the stage. So for me, my experience has just made me realize that through and through, we're humans. We do have our own experiences, but essentially, we all need to be advocated for. And I think my upbringing has just been more of a fuel to that cause for me personally. But I think whether that was or wasn't my experience, I still would be passionate, to be honest, about advocacy and ensuring that people are represented, people are included, and are accounted for.
It's wonderful to hear that you use your voice, and even like you said, whether or not it's the challenges you faced or other people from the different cultures that you lived in, just to have a voice and be a representative for them. It's wonderful that they're noticing that and they're reaching out to you. I think that's so amazing. And I can't wait to hear you speak more on these things and learn more about your background, because I'm the same. I mean, every single person's got their individual story, but the fact that you've been able to globally travel around the world and live in different places, I think it does give you a different perspective. I mean, based off religions, cultures, just, yeah. So, have you ever been to India before? Or,
No, so I'm really excited. It will be my first time to go to India, so I'm really excited. And yeah, so this is nothing else I love about pageantry in itself is the journeys it takes you on. I don't think I would have probably been like, oh, I'm going to go to India one day, but the fact that I'm doing it because of this pageant, I'm so excited. It's pushed me out of my comfort zone. It's bringing new challenges, and who knows what new doors will be open for me. So I'm really excited to be going to India this year.
I'm the exact same. I've never been to India, and it's actually this pageant's opening up the doors for. I'm also going to Vietnam and Thailand before. So,
Yeah.
just the international travel opportunities you get and the cultural exchange from these pageants, it's just so eye-opening. I think it will, yeah, it will change us for the better, which is exciting.
100%. I always say you need to travel in life.
Mm.
It definitely opens your eyes up. It opens your heart and opens your mindset, and you just get a new perspective for life and different cultures and different people. And simply put, and then the day it's like, oh, we're all the same. We really are. That's the
Mhm.
irony of it all. We really are. But it's beautiful.
So we'll just move into a bit more of your career now. So, what inspired you to pursue the legal profession?
So as mentioned early on, my father, he was a soldier and he was in the military. So I grew up with law and order being, a main thing in the household. And then my uncles also being journalists, being lawyers. And so I just grew up with that background in my family, and growing up with conversations was like a daily thing. And then when I think I was maybe in year 10, that's when I really was like, okay, I'm going to be a human rights advocate. By 9, I knew I was going to be a lawyer. It wasn't even a question at that point. I can recall that summer it was the end of year 4 summer going to grade 5, and I had one of my uncles come down from the US, and he was making his way back to Sudan to cover the independence going on at the time. And he gave me a Malcolm X book. And that was my first time of hearing of Malcolm X. And along that, he gave me a book about Dr. John Garang, who was the first president of South Sudan, and his political plan and for the future and stuff. And he gave me a book on Marcus Garvey, who was, one of the most founding fathers of the civil rights movement. And so imagine 10 years old, I'm reading these political books. I'm staying up all summer just reading it. And it was insane, but it just fueled something in me and it made me fall in love with it. And the more we spoke about civil rights and I was going back home and seeing what all these people were doing and their efforts, it really inspired me, to be honest. And so for me, I was like, I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to be a human rights lawyer at that, and I'm going to advocate for people. And that kind of was the pathway I was on until probably the end of year 12, where I was like, you know what, I maybe not so much human rights, but I definitely want to be a lawyer still. And so when I got into law school, it was more then of exploring what kind of lawyer I wanted to be. I knew either way I would be in the field of advocating for people, and that's what I was passionate about. And it just so happened, life goes its own way and you have your own plans. And I ended up in criminal law, and that ended up being something completely outside of my comfort zone. I never planned to do criminal law. At that point, I was thinking of civil litigation. That's what I was leaning towards. But, as you do when you graduate, you kind of take whatever offer comes your way to kind of get your foot through the door. And for me, it was all criminal. So I said, okay, I'm just going to do it for about a year and then move on. A year turned into 2, then 3, then 4. And I fell in love with it. And I think for multiple reasons. One, I definitely found I was advocating for people in a way that was perhaps more rewarding than I would have imagined myself as well. Criminal law was also one of the areas I found was the most engaging for me. I'm someone who loves a challenge. I'm someone who likes to be in, quick driven spaces. So I found that more engaging than other spaces that I was in previously. But criminal law was that one area where there was a lot of trust put into you. And it's like, okay, you've got it, you've
Mm.
got the foundation, here's the case, run with it. So that was really challenging for me, and also I think helped me grow quite a bit in the early years of my career. Yeah, so essentially just down to my parents, my father particularly, and just my experience as well, being a refugee, being an immigrant, being someone who had to leave my country due to discrimination. It just all of that fueled into my sense of purpose of I've got to get all this experience and make it worthwhile and then pass it on as well.
It's so inspiring that your career was your passion, and from such a young age, it's not very usual to hear that a child dreams of becoming a lawyer. But I love your story of how you were given books by your uncle and your family was, I guess, not pushing you in that direction, but that's where your interest lies. And it's incredible that that was, yeah, that you could see that in the future and you decided to pursue that. And I can tell from what you're saying as well that you've got incredible initiative and you like having a challenge. So going into criminal law, although I'm sure sometimes it's hard, and the amount of research I can only imagine goes into it. But I
Mm.
can see that, yeah, you're so passionate about it, and just watching you talk about it, yeah, I'm excited to learn more about it.
It's been hard in its own way as well. There were times where I felt completely burnt out, and I did step out for a while, and that's when I got involved in community development, and particularly with education. So that also opened a new segue for me to work with young people and also advocate for them in that regard. And since COVID, there was so many initiatives and so much funding that came in, and it opened so much opportunity for me. So I was able to work with the Department of Education, work with the University of Melbourne, and just put on so many like initiatives and programs, and that's been rewarding in itself because it's allowed me to see um, I didn't really have one way of working with youth and helping them within the criminal legal justice, but also
Mm.
within an educational space where within the criminal sector, it felt more as a preventative at this point, where I'm just preventing from a young person from going to jail at this point. Where within the educational space, it felt more of a early on um, it is preventative, but also like a cure in an
Mm.
earlier stage. Because you can see always what pathway this kid is going to go on. So if I'm getting them while they're 12, 13, 14, it saves a lot of headache and heartache later on if they're coming to me at 17, 18 about to face criminal charges. And, that's really when you're about to become an adult. So once it gets serious, that's it. So it's been really fun to do that as well and use my knowledge and my skill set from law and transfer that across into advocacy in the community development and educational space as well.
Of course, and that's what I love working in the educational space for children in particular, because it's exactly what you said. It's about a preventative, but also helping people and being a mentor and a pathway that they can look up to and see that there's a different way that they don't. Yeah, it's like what you said, you do help them at a later stage, but if we can help them early on and set up foundations, and that's something I'm so passionate about, teaching kids in my acting and things like that, having, yeah, workshops and things where they feel confident and comfortable in the spaces. It's just amazing to see how they can grow and flourish, and yeah, not feel trapped in their own upbringing or background.
Yeah.
South Sudan has such a rich culture, and they're full of resilient people. What are you most excited to share with the rest of the world, since we haven't seen South Sudan on the Miss Grand International stage for a while now?
Oh, for me, I think one thing I've embedded in my grand prep is like straight away from my announcement shoot is just the fashion, the culture, the colors. I want to use my wardrobe as a almost what's the word I want to use?
Expression of yourself, an expression of
Yes, and
yourself.
my culture and just bringing that flavor and to kind of showcase that unique look of South Sudan itself. And so I've been working and also it's also helped me do a lot more research and I've learned so many things about South Sudanese culture and fashion and dreamtime stories, which have allowed me to bring that into like my costume design and my outfit for the talent aspect. So I'm really excited to bring that and educate people. It's not just the narrative of it's a war-torn country. No, it's a country of its own identity and history, and it's full of flavor and colors and passion. And so I'm really excited to showcase that. And I've actually got an exciting event coming up soon in August that's more catered to that and to bring that to center focus. Because I like the idea of bringing it onto stage, but I really wanted to have its own focus and its own attention. So I'm really excited for this upcoming event, which will be announced soon. But no, so that's one thing I'm really excited to do, and also just to be there as a vessel of representation. As mentioned before, I've had people reaching out to me just like, wow, like, okay, we've seen someone who's like us up on stage. And I think just doing that in itself is an honor. And for me, it's like I maybe feeling tired at times, and maybe feeling apprehensive about the competition. Again, it is my first time doing grand, but it's more of having the heart of we've got to go in and give it our best, no matter what happens, because at every stage there's someone who's looking, there's someone who's been inspired, there's someone who's been poured into. So I'm just really on it, honestly, just to be there in that space and to hold that flag up. And I can't wait to be up there and say, Akoi Arok from South Sudan. So I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, that's my favorite bit is just seeing how like proud the women are to represent their countries and yell out their name and their country. And I agree. For me, I often find the national competition is you really feel it's about yourself and representing yourself and kind of what background you bring. And it is on the international stage too, but we also have this banner of our country that we're representing. And what an incredible privilege to, yeah, showcase the different sides of our cultures that people might not know and be a representative that people can come ask questions to. So I'm going to be asking many more questions, I'm sure, off air about Sudan with you.
Definitely.
So Miss Grand International brings women together from every corner of the world. What excites you most about meeting the other contestants?
Oh, okay. So as mentioned earlier on, I've been stalking everyone on social media, confessing.
Who hasn't? Me too.
But I love that a lot of the women in this year's competition are just from my impression of them is they're just amazing go-getters. They are women in their own right. They've got businesses, they've got causes they're advocating for, they're confident, they're bold. So for me, it's just to be able in a space of those kind of women is always exciting for me. I think iron sharpens iron. So I think in this regard, it's, a woman of equals coming together who are equally passionate and determined and ambitious and fearless and bold. And I love that. And I can't wait to meet everyone and learn from them and share experiences and grow and network. So I think just meeting everyone and getting to know them a bit more personal and learning more about their stories as well and connecting and sharing this journey of a lifetime, because when it's all done and dusted, like it's gonna be us, it's gonna remember this forever. So I'm really excited just to meet everyone, to connect, and be inspired and see what happens.
I'm the same. I've been loving everyone's socials and they're so inspiring and empowering and just the multifaceted side of every single one of them doing so many things. Like they're professional in their careers, they're also working out like crazy. So yeah, it's going to be so fun connecting with everyone and experiencing it together. That's something I love about these pageants and Miss Grand is that you get to go there, but it's not just your own experience, it's with other women. And I love your quote, what was that one? The
Iron sharpens
iron
iron.
sharpens iron. I love that so much because it's so empowering, and I think that's something that women need. We need other women backing women, so that's definitely something I'm looking forward to too. Now, you are living in Australia. As we said, you've lived in multiple countries. What's something, as I'm Miss Grand Australia, what's something you love about Australia?
Oh my gosh, where do I start? Okay, I completely love Australia's multicultural community. Like, first and foremost, I think, and I'm from Melbourne, so it's like the most multicultural city, in my opinion, in Australia. So I get to meet so many people. I always say, if you're going to visit Australia, visit Melbourne for sure. It is a miniature globe in one city. You get to meet so many people from so many different walks of life and tries all sorts of cuisine and flavors, and it's just amazing. So for me, I think Australia in itself is an example of how a multi community society can actually be for the most part. I know we've got our issues and stuff, but I think Australia overall is such a good example of that, particularly in Melbourne. I love the opportunity that I hear. Of course, I think obviously why my family came here, but I definitely attribute the attitude of resilience and opportunity taken that's in this culture, I think for sure, compared to maybe other spaces where I've been, where it's a bit more, I think people are more settled and content with, average, ordinary,
Mm-hmm.
safe lives, which is not a bad thing. But I think in Australia, as maybe it's just the people I've met so far, they seem to be such driven people. They seem to be purpose filled. They seem to be centered in the art of wanting to give and grow something like that's foundational and genuine and long term. So I like that because it helps me stay in that energy and that mindset as well myself. So I think overall my biggest takeaway that I absolutely love about Australia and living in Melbourne is the multicultural community that's down here, and I'm in the city. can walk down and probably walk past 10 different countries altogether
Mhm.
of restaurants and people and cultures. So I love that aspect for sure.
That's what I loved about growing up here and always living here my whole life is the multicultural side of it because you don't have to leave your own country to experience different cultures here. And I love that. And I love that your experience is so good here too. And I do find the people where we're a bunch of go-getters. We love keeping busy, but we also have that link to lifestyle and understanding that it's also important to enjoy
Definitely.
yourself as you go along. So that's beautiful to
Definitely. I
hear.
think Australia has a great attitude of having a balance for sure.
Mm.
Work life, family life. That's one thing I'll definitely give. Yeah, but it's a balanced culture.
And
You
actually,
can.
moving on to the balance side of things, I was going to ask you, how do you stay grounded while balancing pageantry, your legal career, and community leadership that you do?
Oh, it's definitely an art of juggling
Mm.
and trying not to be too hard on myself. I think for me, it's just a matter of having a schedule, having things written down, having things planned. I'm someone who is effective. I'm very old school. I carry a journal. I write everything down. I've got the same journal I've had for like the last 6 years, and I'm surprised it's still lasting me because the amount of writing I do, but I write everything down from, okay, this project's what I need to do by today, by tomorrow. For me, the art of multitasking has been a blessing and curse. It works very well sometimes, and then it can feel very overwhelming at times. When it does, I've just learned to adjust and be like, okay, instead of multitasking, just choose one thing to focus on for the day, and then
Mm.
tomorrow a different thing. So I think just knowing yourself and how you work well under stress and what is your most effective way of getting things done, whether you're someone who needs an app or you're pen to paper, just find out what works for you. For me, like I said, it's literally pen to paper, then I schedule it in. One thing I also like to do, I work best under time crunches. I think maybe that's why I like criminal law. But I will sometimes, for example, okay, if I've got to plan a shoot, I will book the studio first. If I've
Mhm.
prepared nothing else, I've just booked the studio and I've chosen a date. So it's almost like a time crunch thing. I know I've got to get things sorted before then. And then
I
I
love that. It's like you're tricking your own psyche to.
exactly. So it's just I'm working to make it happen. It will happen. I'm just put it out in the universe. It will be done. So yeah, I've learned how to pull myself when I'm kind of slacking, how to hold myself accountable, how to get myself back in the right mindset. And it's just a matter of having fun with it all. And that's why I think with all my projects and everything that I do, my most important goal always has been it needs to be genuine and it needs to
Mhm.
feel like me. I need to feel connected to it. And if I look back in these 2 years from now, what am I going to think? Is it going to feel like me? Is it going to resonate with things I value? And that's been across modeling, law, pageantry, my causes and such. And I think that's the most important thing for me is it just needs to be genuine. I'm not trying to pretend or put in anything of myself out there that does not feel like me or trying to compare or compete. And
Mm.
that's just been my own thing. And I'm glad it has also resonated with a few people. I really am touched when I get those kind of messages. And I'm so honored that that artwork or that purpose or that, whatever I've created and put out there has connected with someone and they've resonated with it and they're thanking me for it. And it's just an encouragement itself. Like, great, yeah, authenticity pays. So keep going.
Yeah, and it is hard to find that balance, especially when you have so many different fields happening and so many different careers that you're seeking success in. I feel like rather a kindred spirit here as well, that you're kind of
Mm.
wanting to be a bit type A in all fields. I'm definitely a pen to paper diary person. I'm a bit the same. I often set things up and then go, well, time to work hard on it because
Yeah.
it's coming up. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's wonderful to hear that you've worked on that over the years and you've found what works for you. And I think that's all it comes down to. I mean, it's the same with motivation. People can ask you what keeps you motivated, but it's really what works for you and yeah, what you're trying to achieve. And if you're achieving that connection with people and you're getting that, then that's success in itself. So it's lovely to
Absolutely.
hear. Who has inspired you? Because you seem very grounded in all your decisions you're making and supported you the most throughout your journey. And it could be multiple people that you just want to mention.
Are we talking in pageantry or just life in general?
Can be either or. You can stick to pageantry or life in general.
I think, okay, first of all, my father has definitely been one of my biggest supporters from the get-go. I'm someone who comes from a country where education for women was not really valued or encouraged. My father had four daughters, and his whole thing was they're all going to go to school. And they were like, "You're mad? Why are you wasting money on them?" And he's like, "Nope, my kids are going to be educated." And so from very early on, he poured a lot into us and he advocated for us and he cheered us on. And it's been like that since I was in high school. And it's been, a good and bad thing growing up because obviously if I came home with, let's say, a B plus, I'm like, got a B plus, I'm so happy. It's like, great, but what about an A? I know you're capable of it. So it was almost like, oh, really? Like, I gotta do more. But it's definitely made me who I am. I'm someone who's very, I used to say someone who's competitive and someone who's ambitious, where now I think growing up, going through that law school, early careers and everything else, rather than saying I'm someone who's competitive or ambitious, I'm more said I'm someone who's tenacious. I'm
Mhm.
someone who's learned how to stick to a goal and how to manage myself. And that's something it took a while to come to learn as well with my father's help as well. If I had a failure early on, it was such a impact for me. I didn't know how to handle that, and I think just
Mhm.
because I was someone who was so driven, and I'm someone who puts heart and all into whatever I do. So when the end results are not necessarily what I had hoped for or expected, I do take it a bit hard on. I've learned to manage with that as well. Success is not the end of all; it's just the beginning of another journey.
Mhm.
And so it's just about mindset, all in all, and that's all come from my dad, to be honest. So first and foremost, him. My mom as well. My mom is someone who herself has always been a cheerleader for us girls to have more than what she had in life. Also, she's never been to university. So for me, just to be able to go to university and to finish high school, which she didn't get to do either, is something that she's so proud of, and she has completely encouraged me and in all the little ways that she could and all the little ways that she knew. So my parents definitely both have been such strong backbones in my foundation of who I am, in my morals, in my belief, in my sense of confidence, and self-esteem. And I'm really grateful for them for that. And even now, they're just, massive supporters and what are you doing next and what's going on and how things going. And at times that I feel like, oh, you could do a bit more to support me or do this. And they're like, yeah, but we know you. You've got it. Like, you know. And if you need help, you ask for it. So there's a lot of belief and a lot of confidence there. I'm really grateful to them. Fun fact for me, someone I love history, and I
Mhm.
love reading and I love books. So I grew up, well, I studied history throughout high school and university as well. I actually did a double degree in the beginning, so I did arts and law. And my arts side was I got to explore so many different things, so philosophy, criminology, history, all of that. And one of my historical um, icon figures who I absolutely like hats to her, a lot of people may not know, Hurrem Sultan. So for all my Turkish people, yep, you definitely will know who I'm talking about. But she is such, and if you don't know, look her up, honestly. I think she's one of the most iconic women in history to have ever lived. She was a kidnapped slave female who became or sultana in Ottoman Empire, and her journey has just been one of resilience from the age of 17, being an orphan, being a slave, to becoming one of the most powerful women in the world. And just her journey, the things that she did, not just in terms of creating an era where technically was known as the first sultanate of women, which essentially is like the first feminist had of woman in that side of the world. She's someone who advocated for orphans and widows, and started charities and orphan houses for them and government stipends for them to have money. And she advocated in terms of policy and democracy. Like, she is such an amazing, phenomenal, multifaceted person. And so when I came across her journey, and I resonate with her, and she's someone who actually, whose journey is quite inspiring itself, the things that she's done for other people across borders, and just her journey. Yeah, so she is definitely someone in history I would love to meet one day if I could. Um, but yeah, so definitely
What
parents.
a yeah, what amazing people to be inspired by. I think I totally agree with me as well. It's family gives you those foundations, those bases of morals and values. And I often came across as well as very competitive. I would have said as well, I'm very ambitious and I still am, but I think it's what you touched on, which is resilience, and that's at the heart of
Mm,
everything. And what I'm noticing a pattern here from you and the people that you're inspired by and the ones that support you are the people that go, you've got it, you don't need someone like lifting you up. We know that you're amazing, but it's having that support system to know that they're there. And also the woman you've just described, how what an incredible story and a background, and yeah, true testament of what resilience and yeah, kindness and sticking to something and power can be for women. So thank you so much for sharing that. I feel like I've learned definitely a bit more about you and I understand why you're so grounded and so incredible. So I love that.
thank you.
I'd love to know what advice you would give to someone who wants to enter into pageantry.
I think if you're going to enter pageantry, you need to definitely assess your why. It needs to be authentic. I think that's the start of everything. You need to ask yourself, there's so many reasons why people may do pageantry. It also depends what stage you are in life. I think if you're young or you come into it as an adult, you've got different life perspectives and life experiences, which can definitely change your journey overall. But essentially, you've got to know why and for who exactly you're doing it for. I think pageantry is a experience and it's a goal that's bigger than you are, and that's probably a weight of responsibility in the background that kind of gets overseen. And I think people come into it with the lens of it's just about me, and I've got to make sure I've got the best walk and best gown and I speak well on stage. But it's no, it's beyond more than that. You've got to assess, just are you here to just be on stage and look pretty? Are you here for a purpose? Are you here to connect? Are you here for exposure? Like, what is it you're here for? And I think you need to be honest with yourself in that regard, because whatever that reason is, it will become clear to other people around you. I think people emanate energy. And if you're authentic, people will definitely feel that and connect with it. And if you're not, it will come out as well. And that probably will also affect your journey. So I think that's what it needs to be, whether it's pageantry or any other journey or goal you take on. I always tell people this is just, it starts with why. So you've just got to know why you're doing it. And also it needs to be a solid core enough reason. It can't be something that's materialistic or superficial or fleeting. If it is, then I mean you can still do it for those reasons, but you may not get a profound overall experience out of it.
Yeah, I feel like you just won't enjoy what it could be if you go in with that mindset. And I think you're so right. It's about being ready. I mean, I've competed in pageantry over the years, and it was this year where I really felt connected to my advocacy, really wanting to experience everything and take it in for what it is. So I love that you've said that. And I think that's the true queens, and the ones that stand out to me are that energy exchange of warmth, understanding and kindness to others. It's not just about them being on stage, although that's a lovely side of it. It's really
Mm.
about them, one, representing their country and representing voices that don't get a platform to speak. So I love that. So we're going to wrap up this round of questions and then I'll go into the rapid fire. But the last thing I wanted to ask you was, what legacy would you love to leave as Miss Grand South Sudan 2026?
I would love to leave the legacy of making sure that South Sudan becomes a trailblazer in itself in this space, and that it's an encouragement for more girls to come. I would love to be used in any capacity in terms of helping make that come on, because Gran will go on after me and so forth. And like I said, it's always about paying it forward. So for me, I hope my legacy in doing grand this year is that it's the beginning of something exciting. It's the beginning of a new, ongoing, consistent journey, and that it's a example for more girls to step up. It is a big challenge, but I think anything in life worthwhile that's having is a big challenge in itself. So use men as an example, learn from my journey, my mistakes, my goods, whatever happens this year. And I hope it fuels you and it encourages you and you take up the flag of, raising up South Sudan next year for 2027.
How wonderful. I'd love to see that happen and yeah, be the pathway to incredible women coming after you. So lovely to hear. All right, we're going to move on to the rapid fire questions. They're just a bit of fun, so just say whatever comes to mind when you first hear
Beautiful.
it.
All right.
All right, are you an early riser or a night owl?
Night owl.
Okay, so you like study and do your work at nighttime?
Yeah, always been since uni. I'm not a morning person. I hate waking up in the mornings. I can't do it. I will do it if I have to, but I hate it. So I'm
Okay,
definitely a night person.
great, great. What is your go-to comfort food?
Ooh, comfort food. Well, it used to be pasta, and then I had to carbs. We've got to slow it down.
Well,
But
yeah, we've all been there.
good pasta. I love a good like salmon and cherry tomato creamy pasta. Yeah, pasta.
Ooh,
Some
that's
warm
very
pasta.
specific, and I love that. I love very specific food. I'm a bit of a foodie myself, so pasta's always a good one. What is your biggest pet peeve?
Oh my gosh, I've got a few.
Same.
But my biggest pet peeve, oh, okay, this just comes up because it literally just happened to me today. I was running errands, and it's people who walk slow in front of you. Like, oh,
Yeah, I
like
can't.
it does my head in. Like, it's, come on, so
I
that's
know.
like my current
I
biggest.
was saying we need like laneways where it's like the road where there's the slow lane, medium, and fast, and I'll just be like
Honestly, it's like,
running.
come on, shift it. Oh,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's my current biggest pet peeve, slow walkers.
Totally, totally agree with that one. So I know you're a queen and you wouldn't do this, but if you did have the chance to steal something, what would it be?
Ooh, from where? Where am I stealing from?
Literally, you'll get away with it. You can take whatever you want. Some people have had like, I'll steal a private jet. Like honestly, it's whatever you feel.
You know what? That actually is a good one because I can travel anywhere. Yes, I love to travel. So give me the private jet as well, actually.
Okay, I
Yes.
mean, who wants to say no to a private jet, honestly?
Honestly. Oh, I love
Perfect.
that.
Do you have a favorite song that you're listening to currently?
Oh, do I have I listen to a bit of everything.
Hmm.
Do I have a favorite one though?
Or one that you always come back to that's always on that playlist?
I've been obsessed. I mean, Beyonce, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
One I keep coming back to this month is 16 Carriages from hers.
Ah, so
And
good.
I absolutely love that. I think just the lyrics, oh my goodness, like it talks about the dedication, the ambition, the journey of becoming who she was, being on the tour buses, 16 miscarriages, like I think it's just sums up the whole journey for me of just being set on a goal and having your silent battles that people don't even know about. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful rendition of that journey of becoming, honestly, and particularly becoming in those dark moments. I absolutely love that song. So I'm
And
constantly listening to it.
I love all her albums. Like she's, oh, who doesn't love Beyonce, honestly?
Honestly.
What movie makes you laugh? Have you got one that you watch and you just lose it
It's not
laughing?
really a movie.
Could be a
I'm
TV show.
obsessed with Dairy Girls. Like I've been so obsessed since it came out. Like I've probably
It's
watched
so
it
good.
like 117 million times. I can probably quote everything at this point. I just love it. I absolutely love it. So that's like if I'm in a fun mood, it just makes me laugh. Honestly, the sense of humor is my type of humor.
Hmm.
It has a bit of history. It's just I love it. Quirky, fun, lighthearted. I love it. So Dairy
Yeah,
Girls.
I love the quirky side of humor in that one. And if you don't, I feel like it's one that you could keep watching the episodes because you miss things that are said.
Yes,
Like it's so
honestly,
good.
yeah.
All right, this next one's a little bit strange, but if you had to wear a Halloween costume for the rest of your life, every single day, what would you pick?
This is when I saw this question, I was like, I started laughing because I'm actually planning a Halloween party this year. And I've been thinking about my costume. And for some reason, I don't know if I'll wear this forever, but I've got Catwoman in my head,
Oh
the one with
yeah.
Haley Berry. And I was like, that is such a fire outfit. So
Yeah.
maybe, I've got to be leather, cute little mask. I get a whip, maybe Catwoman.
I feel like you as a lawyer just in the full
That's it.
suit would be an absolute vibe. Like
That's
I'd be scared of you. So good, so
it.
good.
So I'll
Uh
say that for now.
yeah. That sounds like a really good party. All right, what is something you first notice about someone when you see them?
Ooh, I would say it's either eyes or teeth. I
Mhm.
think just because being an eye contact person, being in law, I usually realize I know
Mm.
the eye color, the eye shape. And then their mouth is this talk and stuff. So I would say teeth as well. Yeah, eyes and teeth.
Yeah, I'm the same. I feel like you're always drawn to those areas because it's kind of how we read people, I guess, facial
Mm.
expressions. So interesting. What is your favorite way to celebrate a small win? Because I know you've had such big wins, you're incredible, you've won the crown. But what about the small wins, the day to day?
I like to have just time off, and just to reflect, and celebrate those small wins because I'm someone that's also something I had to work on. I just been a bit hard on myself. If I had a goal I had to do and I missed it, I'd be so hard on myself. Or like, you didn't stick to schedule, you didn't do this and that. But I've learned to be able to be kind to myself. Yes, you didn't meet this goal, but along the way you did this and this and that. And that's also an accomplishment in itself. So for me, it's more of I just take a moment to celebrate that and be like, amazing. Like you did so much a year ago. That's probably something you were dreaming about. You didn't think was gonna happen, and yet you've done it. So just kind of taking a moment for myself to soak it in, and give myself, a round of applause and be like, you've done it. You deserve this pause. Let
Yeah.
it sink in. And then yeah, we'll go back on.
Just a pat on the back. Hey, like I can feel like when you're striving for things in careers and in pageantry and things like that, you can often miss the small wins and you can feel like you can't celebrate them. And it's about acknowledging them and looking back. And that's something I always say. I always think when you end up on a film set or something with acting and you end up getting a role, and then your next thought
Mhm.
is, oh, I'm not a lead part though. And then you think back to your younger self, you go, oh, I just would have loved to just been on a set. So, and it's the
Yeah.
same with pageants, just coming to the show and being involved instead of wrapping your mind around, oh, I need to win now. It's just
Hmm.
a healthier way to think. So that's wonderful to hear. If you're a movie or book character, so this is the last question. If you're a movie or book character, who would you be and why?
Oh, if I was a movie or book character, oh, I'm
It's a
stuck.
tricky one because
Pardon?
I feel like it gives a lot like of yourself away if you like really think
Mm.
about who you could be or someone you relate to in a movie or TV show or book.
Oh my gosh, okay. I'm a big reader, so I love reading. So I'm just going through like 100 books in my head right now.
Yeah,
Um, I oh, so many. Could I alter the question a little bit?
of
Could I
course.
be an author of a
Yeah,
book?
yeah,
Okay,
go for it.
so one of my favorite books is called uh Forever. Oh,
Mhm.
I love Judy Blume, so that's the author. And I love all her books. So, Dear God, It's Me, Margaret. The series has come out, season two is coming out as well. I'm obsessed with it. Um, and so forever, like I love all her books to be honest. So I think I would love to be any character
Uh-huh.
from one of her books because she does such an amazing work of I mean, in a book you've got, your antagonist, your protagonist, and so forth. But the way she writes, you can't really vilify anyone because everyone
Mm,
is so right in their experience.
yeah.
And the more you read the book, the again, kind of like with Derry Girls, you miss things and you learn things about them and you fall in love with each character separately. So I think any of her works, any of her shows, I would absolutely love to be a part of. I think she does a wonderful work of capturing humans and their complex sides and
Mm,
they multi dimensions of good and bad, and that essentially we're just becoming and we're complex people and there's no good and bad.
mm.
Essentially, it's just how do we understand people and how do we connect with each other. So I love her work. So if I could be anyone, I'm sorry I'm changing the question, but I would love to be
No,
Judy
no.
Bloom as a writer. So any
That's
of her
something.
characters.
So yeah, that's something I really love about literature too. And I find books can be a bit better than that than movies and TV shows, because oftentimes I find in movies and TV shows they really want it to be like, the villain and the good guy
Mm.
versus, but books can be a little bit like, yeah, that blurry situation where you're reading it and you're going, I understand why they're doing this and their actions. I mean, for certain things.
Mm.
Because yeah, it's because they're experienced in the past. So that's so cool to hear. I love books, I love authors, so it's cool to have that question flipped around and have you be an author. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I really loved getting to know you, and I cannot wait to be with you in India and experience this amazing opportunity with you. But yeah, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you so much for having me. I love chatting to you and sharing more about me and learning about you as well. So excited. And I'm super, super happy and excited for you as a sister queen, but also from Australia. This is also a second home for me. So I'm so excited to be doing this journey with you as well and to see you down in India. So let's go.
Yeah, we'll have
Aussie,
to
Aussie,
catch up
Aussie.
with
Oi, oi, oi.
we'll have to catch up in Australia as well sometime after that.
100%. 100%. I'll let you know when I'm coming down to your town.
Perfect. All right. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much.
Thank you.